Well, a who's who of the celebrity world has come together in Venice for tomorrow's wedding between Amazon founder Jeff Bezos and his bride, Lauren Sánchez. The couple held a welcome dinner last night, but some Venetians aren't welcoming the wedding party, with protesters using the slogan, "No space for Bezos." For more on this, I'm joined by CBS News reporter Haley Ott. Haley, it sounds like the locals are not exactly going to be buying wedding gifts for the couple. How are they feeling about this wedding?
Good morning, Michael. So there have been protests in Venice against this wedding, and that's for a number of reasons. Venice has become a much harder place to actually live for locals in recent years because of things like climate change. There have been really intense heat waves and sea levels are rising. Also because of economic inequality and people being priced out of the city. And another reason is tourism. Venice is visited by thousands and thousands of people a day, and that's changing the fabric of the city with things like grocery stores and stuff actual residents need pushed out of the center by businesses catering to tourists. So for some Venetians, this wedding is exactly the wrong thing for Venice. They don't want the city to become a playground of the mega rich. They want it to be a city for normal people to be able to live. Now, I spoke to the deputy mayor this morning who said that actually the protesters don't necessarily represent the majority opinion in Venice. He said, this is the kind of event that's good for Venice. It employs local artisans like chefs and florists. And he also said this is just one of many private events. And Venice is very used to hosting this kind of thing.
And Haley, jumping off of that, do we know how lavish this wedding is going to be and who's on the guest list?
Well, we don't know very much for certain. The details are confidential for guests only, obviously, to prevent crowds or paparazzi crashing. But we saw Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sánchez. They entered the Aman Hotel, which is on Venice's Grand Canal. And we've seen lots of people arriving and doing very Venice-y things, like getting into water taxis. Bill Gates, the Kardashians, Oprah. And that's just a few of the big names that we've seen. There was reportedly a party yesterday in the cloisters of a medieval church. And then it's also been reported that a second party is taking place today in front of Venice's famous St. Mark's Square. And then tomorrow, there will be a party at the Arsenale, which is a complex of former shipyards and armories in the east of the city. Now, we don't know for certain what's going to happen at these parties, but there are reports that the whole thing could be costing around $50 million.
Wow. All right, Haley Ott, thanks for joining us.